I have.
Praise Jehovah. Praise Jehovah that you are being convicted and that you're listening to his conviction to change. That is such a beautiful thing. I'm wondering if you've ever read 1 John chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. It says, "This is how we know him, when we keep his commandments." You said in your video, when you stand before the Lord on that judgment day, that you will answer to him. And you don't want to hear, "Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you." The Bible tells you how to know him. 1 John chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. "And this is how we know him, when we keep his commandments. And him who says he knows him," those that say, "I have a relationship with God." You said in your video, "I have a relationship with God." "Him who says he knows him and keeps not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him." What truth? I'm wondering if you've read John 14. The Messiah tells you, who came in the Father's name, Yeshua. Different topic. They changed his name. Hosea 2, he's going to remove the name Baal from his people's mouth. They're not going to remember it anymore. The Messiah came in the Father's name, Yeshua. He tells you 3 times in John 14 how he will abode with you. And it's how you know him. He says, "If you love me, keep my commandments. And I pray to the Father to send you another comforter, the Spirit of truth, that the world neither knows or seeks any longer." The world doesn't know him because they say they have a relationship with him, but they don't keep his commandments, so they're liars and the truth is not in them. He tells you 3 times, "If you keep my sayings, you'll have the love of the Father and the Son, and they will abode with you." What commandments? John 5, he tells you he can do nothing of himself. Nothing of himself. He can only do what the Father has shown him to do. He tells you in John 5, verse 37 through 47, he says, "Search the scriptures, for in them you'll find your eternal salvation." It was what was testified of him in the Old Testament. And he knows you don't have the love of God in you. 1 John chapter 5, "For this is the love of God, to keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous." If you don't believe in Moses' writings, how shall you believe his words? Moses wrote in Deuteronomy 18, verse 15 through 19, that Jehovah would rise him up, put his words in his son's mouth, send him in my name, he says, give us commandments, which was everything desired at Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear the Lord's voice anymore, that we die not. And the people well spoken which they had spoken. Deuteronomy chapter 5 tells you it was given at the rock of Horeb, that he made a covenant with them. He gave them the 10 commandments. Verse 22, he added no more. read the whole chapter of Deuteronomy chapter 5. It quotes verbatim Deuteronomy 18. I'm going to read you something. Because 2 John chapter 1 tells you those commandments in Matthew 22 that he gave us to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, love your neighbor. They weren't new commandments. They were commandments from the beginning, because the Son cannot do anything of himself but what the Father has shown him to do. Deuteronomy chapter 6. This is right after Deuteronomy 5 when they received the 10 Commandments. Verse 5, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Whose commandment is that? These words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when they sitteth in thy house, and when they walketh by the way, when they lieth down. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord thy God, as he has commanded us. To love God with all your heart, soul, and mind is to keep the 10 Commandments in your heart. Teach them to your children. It will be your righteousness. Yeshua's first and great commandments. You're being convicted. Did you know that Jude chapter 1 verse 4 tells you that there's going to be ungodly men who creep in unaware, turning the grace of God into lasciviousness, which is what it is today from all the churches. There's 46,000 different denominations who claim that they're Christian, who've all turned the grace of God into lasciviousness, which is unbridled lust, wantonness, shamelessness. You can come before the Lord shameless in your sin because you have favor. Titus 2 tells you what the grace of God does. And you can look it up in the Strong's Concordance. It's G5485. It's the Greek word charis. And it means especially a divine influence upon your heart. His conviction, you're feeling his conviction in Titus 2. The grace of God that has appeared to all men, it was a free gift because it's been given to every single person, every single soul on this planet. You didn't have to earn it. It was a free gift. In Titus 2, it teaches you to deny ungodliness and lusts of this world, the opposite of lasciviousness. His divine influence upon your heart to turn away from ungodliness and lust of this world, his conviction turning you away from participating in pagan idolatry, the sin unto death in 1 John chapter 5. Little children, keep yourself from idolatry. What he dares not pray for. He gives us his grace, his conviction. And praise Yah, you're listening to it. He gives us his conviction to turn away from sin. What is sin? The transgression of the law, 1 John 3. What is the law? Yeshua's 2 commandments in Matthew 22, where all the law and prophets hang on those 2 commandments. His second commandment is Leviticus 19:15 through 18, is to do righteous judgment, not be hypocrites and do unrighteous judgment, but do righteous judgment. You got to keep his commandments so you can do righteous judgment. Turning others away from their sin. If you love him and keep his commandments, he will abode with you. You will know him. So he will not say, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. You who serve sin unto death, Romans 6. I hope you hear this message. We are to keep the covenants of promise in Ephesians 2, the Noah covenant to eat clean, and the covenant with promise, and at Horeb, the 10 Commandments, what he gave us.